song. We talk about today is Miao ethnic minority is holding a bullfighting festival. So normally our traditional mindset, we talk about a bullfighting. It's a Spanish style bullfighting. But here we look at is the fight bull against bull. That's very different because for the Spanish style, that's the bull and human being. They fight between each other. But here it's like a Guizhou, Guangxi, Sichuan, and the surrounding places. All the bulls are here to fight for the king of bull. So let's look at the game. So right now, these two balls or this group of balls, what are they? How we can tell about the different levels of the game? Like for balls, let's talk about like human being that basically they categorized or in different groups by different weight. So like the human beings, they also categorize the different competitors in different weight. So we basically measure the bulls in different weight and size. Yesterday the afternoon we started the game Group B that started yesterday afternoon 1 o'clock to this morning 6 a.m. So we finished the Group B till this morning 6 o'clock. So today you're seeing like they are lighter weight, and they are from Group A. So basically we'll measure their diameter at the breast height. You are watching the Group A. So how we talk about the measure by size? So these two balls, we believe the game is really competitive. We can tell maybe the ground is sleeping. So we will see who will carry the most. So we talk about we measure the ball's breast. So we can identify them into different groups. So we'll measure the diameter. Let's look at the game. So I believe number 1, so you can see they have different numbers. So Group A, Fuquan number 1 is win the game, was the winner. So Hequan is a village at the other side of the river. So we talk about who will be the winner. It's like if the bull is fleecing, then no matter it's win or lose, it will be to lose the game as the final result. So we talk about for different groupings, we measured by their diameter of breast. So we talk about, let's say we have 180 to 200. That's Group A, so above 200, that's Group B. So if we're larger size, then that will be Group C. So for these 2 days, we have the game for Group A and Group B. We not have huge size bulls, so we not really have Group C. So right now you are looking at this is Group A. So let the bull rest a little bit, and we will have another game on. So the winner for the round 1. So right now it's a knockout games. So these two balls, they have quite fair competition. And the another game kind of is like the two balls, they not really fight each other. So if they not really fight to each other, then we will change another competitor. So it's, let's say because of these two cattle, all of them are very calm down and peace to each other, so that cannot be a game. So we change to another competitor. So it's really time consuming. So let's wait for the second round game on. So why we have these really the large game venues, and why we have these many people here to watch the ball fighting? So this kind of event, or let's talk about the bullfighting festivals, why is here? So let me introduce to you. Here is a high population of Miao ethnic minority, with a total population of 70% are from Miao ethnic minority, and this is our traditional holiday. That's our bullfighting festival. So talk about Gaozhai village, we have 26,000 population. For Pingzhai, where we are now, 70% actually the Miao ethnic minority. We talk about actually we are the small Miao ethnic minority. So we not really celebrate the Miao calendar, but we actually more focus on the bullfighting festival and the shark festivals. So for us, it's like the 15th and 25th of lunar calendar. We will have this bullfighting festival. So Fuchuan, Guiding, Longli, and the surrounding areas of Guiyang province will all gather in here to watch this festival. This is actually the games events like organized by the Miao minorities. So the next group, we see the competitors are on. We look at them, it's so quite different. So these two, let's say their head is really up in the air. So let's just say they're aggressive or not. So can say they with their horn locked will start their wrestling. So for Ping Village, these two bulls are really, really strong. It's different from the farming cattle. Let's look at the game on. A little bit these two, I think they right now is competing the strengths with their horn locked. So we will see who will carry who. You can see they're really, really down to the earth. So with their head really down, they can protect themselves. So they can protect their eyes and nose. Otherwise, the other's horns will really sharp and stab into their eyes or nose. So they will be in this position all the time. For game 1, the two horn actually they fight in 5 minutes. So we see that 5 minutes. If one cattle make the other one fleecing, then this one is the winner. But if these two, let's say, if they always keep in this position, then we have the judge to separate them. And we say they actually will be all qualified to enter the next round. So the game time is 5 minutes. And right now, I believe you have never seen this bullfighting before. These two, I believe right now is coming to a deadlock. So this is really not the traditional in our mindset. It's really blood sports. It's the ball against ball. And this is a non-lethal sports, non-lethal event. So the people here actually, they are here to separate the ball. So the young guys are really brave. So if two balls, we cannot really tell who is the winner. Then we need the ball separators to separate them, separate the balls. Of course, they are well trained to be qualified as the ball separator. So let's look at the game. So for this round, let me give you a closer look at this game. I believe the game, these two are in a stalemate condition, and hope I can give you different angles of the game. And these two right now is quite even. We cannot really tell who's the winner. So I can tell they keep in this position for a really long time. I believe almost the time to separate them. We can now tell who is the winner. Then we can say these both two will be entered to the next round. Let's wait whether there's something surprise. So during the stalemated condition, maybe one ball will be gave up. It seems they not really move around. Actually, right now is really, let's say, their strengths are quite equal, and we will see who will be the lucky one in the end. So today, actually, the temperature is really high and the sun is really strong. We have many people gathering here. You can tell people really love the sports and they feel really honored to, especially for the owners of the call of the battles. If you win the first, second, or third place, then the owner of the cattle is really proud because they know exactly how to train the winner, and they will be the really skillful person. So, and also like people really proud of I'm the expert with a high position or status in the village, especially under the culture of farming. It's like it shows like the owner of the cattle know exactly how to coexist with the cow, how to be very friendly with the cattle. So right now almost 4 minutes. So Longgang number 1, I can say maybe it's a little bit stronger than the other one, than the opposing cattle. Let's say who will be the winner. So I believe the call separator or the cattle separator enter into the venue, and the young guys, they're very brave. Let's say whether we separate them or we let them fight. We can see the ropes. This is really dangerous, but the young guys, they're well trained with a very high technique. So what's the technique behind? So they need to make sure that both the human being and the cattle are safe. You say so they will separate them because the horn are really sharp. We need to make sure everyone and every call are safe. So you can see we separate them. We don't want to them hurt. So basically 10 people for one cattle. So for the cattle, they're really expensive. For the king of the cattle, it's around 100,000 to 150,000 RMB. If you also can win the title around China, then that will be 500,000 to 600,000 RMB for the king. So we know the technique for fighting, and what about cultivating or breeding the cattle? Actually, for us, for Miao minority, we have the whole complete process. We will give the alcohol. We give them alcohol. Surprisingly, we have the rice alcohol to give to the cattle. Of course, meat. So we will have the minced meat give to the cow. So that's why they're really strong. And we also need to train their muscles so they'll be really strong in fighting. They are not really the calls for farming. So normally the farming cattle are in the cropland. For these kind of bullfighting ones, they will train them to let them very strong in food, in the legs. So we will let them to carry the rocks or let them to carry the trees, make sure they're really aggressive, strong. For every day, they will basically feed around 4 to 5 times. They eat really much and in many times. So 4 to 5 times per day. So for the cow owners, they also basically eat and live with the cattle together all the time. So although the cattle are very aggressive, but they can choose really peacefully with their owners. So we can tell that the owners know exactly how to coexist in a harmonious way with their cattle. Of course, give them very good feast. So let's wait for the next round of game on. So for Miao minority, I believe they already enjoy the history of more than 100 years. So for a small Miao ethnic minority village here, we have around the 300 to 400 history of holding the bullfighting festival. For Miao minority village, we don't have the language. Either we show our storytelling through the like the art crafts, like we have the wax printing or the embroideries, all these kind of the cultural staples can help us to do the storytelling. Others is like for the previous generations will tell the stories to the next generations. So there's actually no written language. So you can see they have the numbers, and also we can see because the weather is really warm, and so we also will spray some water on the cattle and this game on. Because if the weather is so hot, then the cattle will not really like to move. They are the water buffaloes. So this is the new game on. There's a new round of game, and right now these two are really aggressive. So you can see they're really soon to carry each other. And let's see these two. You can see their horn are really locked, and you can tell their muscles. You can tell the shape of their muscles. So there are two areas. Of course, neck is a very important one. You can see that's the part of the powers. And also their rear legs are also very important. So these two positions actually, or that these two areas of the bodies are most important ones. They need really strong muscles and energies to fight against each other. There are a lot of techniques actually that's required for the cattle. So they really want to carry and turn the other cow all around. So they have different techniques. So these are the two cattle. I believe these two are different from the previous round. We can see they fighting each other, but the previous round they are quite, let's say, even in strength. And these two, let's say, the horn is really locked. So this will not hurt their horn. Their horns, actually, during the previous history, the horns were damaged. So during the first touch of the fight, their horns may be hurted, and also the teeth may be also hurt. So that you not really see that this game you can see not really that fear, but actually this is really energy consumed. So the castles need to rest for like 3 or 4 months after this kind of games. So why we have these kind of the bullfighting festivals? So at the very beginning, two young men at the cropland, so they saw two young men fight each other, and their bulls also fight with each other. So the people surrounding, they not look at the people fighting. They watch more competitive games which were bullfighting. So a lot of people gathering to watch bullfighting. That's the very beginning of the bullfighting festival. So you can see, especially their rear legs. Hope you can see their rear legs muscles really strong. And let's wait for the winner. And maybe also almost to the time. Let's see whether the team of bull separators will be in the venue. But I can say they still making energies to carry the opposing cattle. I believe the group of cattle separators will be soon on the stage. So we will show you different angles later on for the different rounds of the games. And I hope I can give you a very closer look. So we also have the cameras from up in the air, and the really like the Roman ancient bullfighting arena. Here the arena can accommodate around 20,000 people. It's not finished yet. The venue is still undergone the construction, and I believe the group of bull separators will be soon to separate these two. Let's see whether we have any surprise winners. Okay, the bull separators are on, so they will have the rope. And first the rope will at the rear leg to separate these two fighters. So as long as these two locked their horns together, it's really hard to separate them. So we will say they really don't care about others. They just want to fight with each other. And we almost every time we talk about actually when the bull in the really strong fighting position, their eyes are turned to right. So we talk about once you want to separate the claw, you need to take their nose. So I believe these two cattle are also qualified to enter to the next round of the games. So we see the two drawn. So let me explain to you. This time, we not have actually this many drums. Let's say the even game. We talk about the national bullfighting game. So all the ball here you see actually from Guangxi, Sichuan, Zhejiang province. So this time we gathered around 80 balls here, and they are we can tell the best of the best bull here to fight with each other. So they have really high levels of competence. So talk about the bullfighting. So that we have the very beginning of the story and how it becomes a festival. So we talk about the bullfighting. are really eye-catching. So the people really like to watch the bullfighting games. So at the very beginning, we used the farming balls. So just for entertainment. It's not just for the bullfighting, we also have the bird fightings. So back then, it's just one kind of the entertainment. So every time it's before the farming season, and also during the lunar year, and all the people are back home to spend the quality time with their family members. So at the small Miao ethnic minority village, we started our bullfighting games. Before it's just like very small scale. It's really have less people watched. So we choose the 5th, 15th, and the 25th of the lunar month to hold the bullfighting festivals. So before it's like only the bulls that from the a small Miao ethnic minority village, but this time during the May Day we gather the bulls not only from our village and also from the surrounding areas. So what is the role of human beings? Actually, human beings play a very big role. So when the two bulls, they're approaching to each other, but they not fight to each other, then the bull separators, we will become like a catalyst to make them fight with each other. So the owners of the cattle will use wool to encourage their cattle to fight their opposing ones. So the separators will also make the same sound. So the call understand the language, which means to fight against the opposite. During the training of the cattle, the human being also play a bigger role. So you need to make your cattle aggressive, because normally we talk about our farming cattle. They're really calm, they're really gentle. So during the training, you need to, let's say, anger the cattle. During the whole training, you need to let the cattle to be really aggressive. So they have a really strong, they can take the more active or proactive position. So the cattle who take the proactive move have a higher possibility to win the game. So the other ones, we will see, okay, I'm facing a really big competitors, very strong ones. So I believe the first round finished, right? I believe just now we saw the draw lots. And then here we come to the second round of the game. And the new round of game will soon on the stage. And I believe their names. It's really interesting. I believe this one called One Call, One Home, or One Call, One House. I believe that's a really good wishes from his owner. So there's a line, hope you can see it clearly. There's a white line. So the call winner, the owner of the call, I believe they have really strong emotional tie. So I believe this one is in a smaller size, or the smaller weight, I believe, compared to the previous rounds. I believe this one looks a little bit smaller. Okay, I believe the competitors is on. So I believe game will be very soon started. And right now, I believe the separators to catalyst these two. Okay, they have their horn locked. So you watch very closely, you can see. I believe the winner very soon. So we can tell about just within 1 minute, we have the winner because how we can tell who the winner or loser? It's like the losers will be the one who first flees from the other. So let's say of course they first need to touch with each other, they need to fight, and then who run from the other one first, who will be the loser. So we believe just not the game is like the loser just within 1 minute. It really soon flees from the stronger one. So for different rounds, we have different results. So for the very fast one, we can tell just within 1 minute, we tell who is the winner. So let's talk about their daily training. So for the owner, give them really good treatment. We give them the good alcohol, good food to bleed, and the owner will run their bull every day to let them stretch. Of course, we'll do some weight training. So the very smart owners will also sharp the shape of the foot of their cattle. So it's not allowed really to sharp the foot right now at the venue. So the owner will sharp in a very good way. This, of course, look very beautiful, but on the other side, make the foot really sharp. In a sharp way, it's like, because let's say the food is really sharp, so when you touch with each other, you can hurt the other one. So that's also part of the tactic. So also have the committee, so they all have the committee to organize and of course look at all the process. And of course, we also check the drugs. So for the weight training, so it's like the cattle run or climbing the mountains. So when you like the cattle climbing the mountain, will train their rear legs. So the Hornet, that's the name for the next round of the cattle. I believe that's Hornet already in the venue of the game. So we see today we have a lot of audience here. People really love to see these games, and also like the people really like to see like the smaller ones to fight against the larger ones. So this is a new game on. You can see one already run away from the other ones. I believe these two need to let them fight together. Let's see whether they will touch each other or not. So the ball separators will catalyze the two kettles. So these two, when they core locked with each other, we count the time. So for every game, that's around 5 minutes. So we count the time once their core are locked. So luckily, after fight with each other, the one not really flees. this round, these two right now in a stalemate condition. But you can tell they still fight with each other. And you can see their horn are really locked. And one is carrying the other, I believe, the big hornet. Right now, I believe it's stronger than the other one. So you can tell the neck part and their rear legs are the two most important body part, because these two parts need to have a really strong muscles and big energy to make sure they can win the game. For every game, they're around 5 minutes. So if almost the 5 minutes, then the group of the call or the cattle separators will be in the venue to separate the two kettles.
其实咱们苗族啊是一个非常尊重自然也尊重生命的一个民族。
For Miao ethnic minority, really respect nature as well as life.
他们崇拜的对象有
For our traditional
其
holidays,
中它的一个地区不一样。
we Bull actually
西
is
疆咱们很出
part
名的西，他们就是长脚苗。 他们那边就很
of
像
the
西疆，咱们很出名的西疆
animals
他们就是长脚苗，
and we show the highest respect.
哎，就是牛，他们那个脚。
So these two are still in a stalemate condition. So let's see who can win the game. So one side is lock the horn, the other is trying to unlock. So almost the time. Let's see whether we will separate them or we'll have the final winner. I believe the group of cattle separators are in position. I hope them can keep fighting. Because time is almost there. Okay, the judge decides to separate these two. So basically, time's on. So we still be really careful because these two are still in position, and these two young ones, they are really have the high technique and well trained. So we need to separate them, and this game also in a drawn condition. So it's a drawn for this round of the game. So normally for the game, for the loser actually is the one that flees first. So we can see there are a lot of fantastic games. And also we have the young girl separators. They are really talented and well trained. So right now, till now, we watched 4 games with 3 drawn and 1 winner for the 3rd game. So this, I believe, the largest arena right now at the southwest areas. For the other minority village, I believe they also have the bullfighting festival, and there's no fixed calendars for bullfighting festival. We have that tradition, but their time not fixed. The arena right now, this one is quite a large one, and the whole construction not finished yet, and it can accommodate around 20,000 people. You cannot really use the cement floor because for the call separators will cause more danger to them, because the floor should not be really sleeping. And for this kind of floor, is very safe. For the cement floor, it's like when they hit to the ground, it's really hurt. And this kind of floor is really good for the cattle, for their rear legs, to make powers. So all we are doing here is right now, the first and the foremost purpose is to protect the cattle. And also all we are doing is want to also show the harmonious coexistence between human being and cattle. So no matter for the what kind of the ethnic groups, we also look at who with the large populations, then which means if your family with a very large population, then that also shows your family are really prosperous. For minorities, actually, a lot of our population live within the village. So we talk about in minorities 1,000 years ago, we talk about we have limited cropland. So with very large population, it's not maybe a good thing because we have the limited resource. We cannot afford that big population. So we do the catalyst of the cattle. So these two can see they're very peace style. They're not that aggressive. So at this time, I believe they are already at the first round. So they look at each other. At the very beginning, they may not really touch each other or engage. They just look at each other. So you can see, okay, they first look at each other. You can see that suddenly they fight with each other. So they first use their... Okay, we have the winner. So they first look at each other, they not really touch each other, and then suddenly they fight with each other. And then we can tell the loser is the one who flees first. And now we can tell who is the winner, and it's the time for our call separators. Okay, we need to let the call to stop, because when the cattle's running, you need really hard to let them really slow down. So for the first time, the first try is failed. And all these, the separators, they are professional. So you can see they catch the nose. So once you catch the nose of the cattle, you basically control it. So we can see we let the cattle to slow down and stop. So it's really hard. You can see right now, all the people right now, we have all the hands they're trying to stop one cattle. So like 9 people try to calm down one cattle. I believe this cattle was in a really aggressive position and the eyes are turned red. And the loser and stopped by itself. So it's right now is to calm this winner down, because once the eyes turn red, then the cattle actually don't care whether I know you or not. So it's time when we want to calm the cattle down. It's like to see through different tactics to let the call to back to normal, to know who is the owner and control itself. So we know exactly how the Miao people train and control the cattle. They're really smart and very professional. So this is a really fantastic game. So we need to cattle, so we separate the cattle and let them. We cannot really let them. We don't want the cattle to fight each other again off the venue. So we need to separate them and let them off the venue one by one. So for the bull fighting, it's not only just fight between bulls. Actually, that's a game or competition between the different training styles and how the owners controlled their battles. So basically, it's the fighting between different training techniques. So for Miao minorities, they really at the early time know exactly that they have limited resources, they cannot afford a really large population. So they really focus on their farming cattle, how to improve the efficiency of farming. I believe a lot of people pay visit to the Miao minority village, and our village are actually located to the half of the mountain or even the top of the mountain. For Guizhou province, there is no plateaus. So no plains, all mountains. So we leave the plains for farming land. So for our village, it's all at the halfway of the mountain or even at the top of the mountain. So that's the unique part in Guizhou province. So let's wait for the next round. So we see this one, their horn is really in a very good moon-like shape, really beautiful. I can tell, I believe this one is really muscle, and you can tell the shape of the muscle are really trained. And this from Yunnan province. So you can see, give you a closer look, you can look at their rear legs. So you can tell their muscles are really tight. So, okay, we see each other, and one cattle take a very proactive position. And Hongjing, I believe, the one just in the venue, it's also a very famous one. Hongjing, at the previous round, with the winner for his first round. And right now come to the second round. And these two, let's look at.
先确认眼神，然后再进行攻击。
Okay, they will have the eye contact first. And we will catalyze these two to let them engaged. We need to hear the sound. So it's not really easy to catalyze the kettles. I believe the Hongjing, the kettle from Hongjing Company for the previous round is really energy consumed. So you can see their head are really down to the earth. These two cattle, I believe these two are really the most strongest one and the most well-known ones. So let's look at whether the competition, because like till the last rounds, all these cattle are the very famous and the strongest one. So it's also need to have very good physical strength. So when you come to, let's say, the cattle come to the third round of the game, you need to have really good body endurance capabilities. Otherwise, the cattle cannot really win the game. So for the cattle from the Hongjing Company, already finished the round 1, and the cattle was the winner from the round 1. So it really consumed a lot of energy. So we will see whether it's like every game we just be in the stalemate condition, then we can be the winner, because if the game is in draw, then the two cattle actually are qualified to the next round. But I believe the cattle cannot really sing that far. So these two, right now, where's their horn locked? So I believe this may be better than just horn, just like fight and touch and engage every time, right? Just the two heads carried each other. I think these two cattle are really tired, especially if they just finished their round 1. So let's say if these two cattle we catalyzed many times, but they not really fight with each other, then what we should do? So let's say if these two not willing to fight, then we need to change one cattle, change to a more competitive or the aggressive one. Okay, these two, after all the process of catalyzing, let's say whether they willing to fight or not.
我们平时应该说在这个城里边很少能看到有这样的场景。
So normally, actually, if you live in urban areas, you cannot really see this kind of scenery. And actually, when I was here, I first saw that these many people just lying outside to entering the venue to see this bullfighting festival. So a lot of ethnic minority population till now, they cannot really speak Mandarin. So back to the schools. Right now we have the schools teach in 2 languages. So it's the minority language and Mandarin. And because for the elderly generations, right now if you want to talk to them, it's really difficult, because for the elderly generation, they only can speak Miao language. So these two cattle, their horns are in a very good shape. So for A19, you can see their horns like a moon shape. So some horns, they're in a very good curve, but some horns, they're
短粗的打架是不是要好
just in a very straight shape.
像我老家
So that's maybe depend on the different species. For the cattle from my village, their horns are in a very short
那个造型跟战斗力
but
有没有
thick
影响
shape.
估计是有的，但是
So I don't will tell, but I believe they have something called relation
高一点啊。腿
regarding the shape of the horns.
长腿哥，
We can tell these two horns that believe they are very tired, so they don't really like to
哎
fight.
又来了，哎呦，我们听到嘣的一声啊，这突然一下子，突然一下子。
Okay, we heard the sound.
解说员也很幽默啊，名副其实，宣威中刀，说明他这头一头砸下来比较重。
So you can hear the sound. I believe that just now they engage with their horn locks
这两
in
边都
a
没
very
服输
strong
真的能够看出来两头牛的
strands.
它的
So
头
these
是完
two
全贴地的。
not gave up yet. So you can see their heads really touch the ground. So Xuanwei, I believe, a little bit in the weakened position. Let's see who will win the game.
这感觉有的像有的时候有点像我们小孩打架啊，两个小孩打到一块儿了。
So it's like a look at the two keys. They fight each other. So they do not have other technique, though they will basically engage with each other and look at who have a stronger endurance capability. So give you a closer look. Right now, these two cattle with all their heads really down to the ground, to the earth. So give you a really close look at the bull fighting. Right now, you look at the same angle as the bull separators.
就是说那个牛后边不要跟那么多人，人多了会对斗牛有影响吗？
有那个斗牛的话，第一个是保护他们的。
So we also
人太多的话
control
那个
the number of
跑起来
people in the
冲起来
venue
就比
because
较麻烦
if we
第
have
二个是
so
影响
many
观众
people
视线
in the
第三个
venues,
也
then
是
if the
主要的
cattle
原因
are running, it's really hard to control and protect the safety for both human being and the cattle, and we don't really want to interfere or intervene.
突然一下子跑了，
Okay, we
宣
can
威中刀
see
跑了。
又一次赢了哈。
who. Okay, 宣威中刀 flees first. So Hongjin Company win
可能是
this
在
round of the game.
可能是在僵持的过程当中，另外一头牛它的力量已
Okay,
经是耗尽了
during
撒劲儿了，没气儿了。
the stalemate condition, I believe
好
one
两个人
side
开始追逐我们
use
现在
up
开始
all
看
the
隔离员怎么
energies.
把他们俩隔开。两
Okay,
头
we
牛的力
can
量
see
看起来
it's
都
the
非常
time
大
for the separators to stop
牛是转圈哎。
the cattle to let them calm down and back to normal. And right now they are run in circles. So
这两头
we
牛就在
need
原地画圈儿。
to calm down the cattle. So you can see they run in circles
格牛队员在用格牛工具，
because these two are really strong.
格牛队员注意安全。
差一点
So
差一
it's
点
not really
这个
easy
这个
to let them stop.
这个小伙子很聪明。
So we have the first try and we have the second try. We need to
他要抓住
carry for the separators, for the cattle separator. They need to control and grab the legs
又顶了一个。
of the cattle to let them stop.
我们现在看见格牛队员在抓着牛的尾巴，
You can see all the separators
各种方
right now
式
is
在
carry and grab the legs, the tail.
好，现在冠军
Okay,
这一轮的冠军已经被压下来了。
the winner of this round. Okay, stop
晋
running.
级了。现在他应该是
Hongjin Company
应该是要晋级那个决赛。
决赛有多少
win
牛啊
is the second round, I believe, already entered to the finals. So for the finals, how
估
many?
计是3轮到4
Cattle
轮左右。
So for Group
直
A,
接进入第
it's
3轮。
around 29 cattle for the finals.
相当于是这头
And
牛
because the
要跟
Hongjin
公司的
Company, the cattle
牛比
already
他
won
现在
2 rounds. So I believe this one already qualified for the finals.
决赛签的话就是
So we
3头
talk about the
牛
finals.
每
How
每个牛
many
都要打。 每个牛都
So
要碰面
actually, for the
碰面
three
如果赢的话
three
两个
couples
女
are
两
qualified
个
for the
两次
really
碰
the
面你都赢
finals.
了你就是
So
冠
for
军
these three, they need to fight with
输一
each
场赢
other.
一场
So
输
once
的那场再跟另外
the
一个牛
couples win the 2 games,
然后以
then we
胜
have
的
the
场次
winner.
来断定他的那个分出他的那个胜负。
So we will decide
所以他整个斗
the
牛下来
first, second, and
时间
third
耗费得很
place.
长。
我们现在看这个运动场里边，你别
So
说，
it's really time
时间越来
consuming.
越晚，人是越来越多。
So we
现
can
在
tell
感觉人比刚才多了。
we have more and more people entering into the arena. We believe we have more audience.
因为今天下午
好，那我们来坚持，再看一下啊，能不能坚持到我们这个决赛的这个圈儿出现。现在我们这一轮还有多少？大概
Let's see whether we can see the final games. So how many games left for this round?
刚才我们已经看了6场了，6场是吧？
We
6场的话
just now watched around 6 games.
最后两三队了。因为一轮
So
淘汰
we
一轮淘汰就
believe
得淘汰一
we
半
have
的
around 2 or 3 games left.
的话，那就是14个，14头牛。那现在的话
So we have
刚才我们6队的话，
around 14
那可能就是最后
cattle.
好，我们现在看一下。
will be in the next round. So we will see, maybe we have around 2 games left. So I believe we have 2 games left for the round. So half of the cattle will be in the next round and half of them, of course, will be knocked
这
out.
两头是什么样的状态？
So let's look at the next round.
我就感觉这个牛角和
What kind of cattle?
不一样。听那个小李说过以后，
So
这头牛
we
的
can
牛角要
see
直一些
the competitors right now in the arena, in the venue. So let's look at the horn for this one. This is a little bit short and straight, not like the moon curve.
“刚才小李也说到，我们这个比赛昨天 B 组那一轮居然打到了凌晨6点。
So for yesterday, Group B, it's lasted till this morning 6 a.m. It's a really long and competitive games.
好，我们现在来看这一轮的这两队儿啊，
So okay, game on.
又开始
Have
互
these
相试
two
探了现在就知道
competitors.
了不管你看没看，都是互相试探。
Okay, they first look at each other.
上来就直接冲的，
Okay,
这种牛好像这个牛角就
but we also have very aggressive cattle. Like they not really have the eye contact first. Once they enter to the venue, they will fight with each other. So you can see these 2 cattle, one with a
小贵阳啊，这个叫小贵阳。
with a curve, but one is in a really straight shape. So one is called Little Guiyang, I believe we're from the Guiyang province. So once they have the eye contact, they not really like to engage.
所以以后我们发现，
They
如果
not really
牛
like to fight.
如果那个牛没有看你，其实不一定，它可能真的在看着你。
因为他很
So it's like maybe they not really look directly into the eyes, but we know they had the eye
就
contact.
接触到一块儿。
Okay. And suddenly
哎，这两头牛
touch
我感
the
觉好像
horns
四分组的这头牛
and
好像
locked.
身形都差不多
差不多哈。
啊，虽然说都是一个级别的。
so you can tell they in the quite similar size.
那个箱里面都直接抽的。
那可能就是这个是巧合了。
For it's like they draw the lots,
哎好，这
but
这两
we
头
can
一
see
开
for
始
every
明显
game
一
the
点
2 cattle are more or less in the quite similar size and weight.
这个是小贵阳哈，
小贵阳要凶一些啊。
So we have the little Guiyang. I believe a little bit more aggressive.
你看小贵阳那个腿儿，那个前肢好像明显是那种发力的
For
那种感觉。
Xiao Guiyang, The little Guiyang, you can tell the legs position, you can tell is very aggressive and also use a lot of power to carry the opposing one. We can tell maybe for this round we can have the winner. So right now these two are competing their strengths. Let's see.
咱们第二轮的时间延迟到了，就是推迟到了多了3分钟，相当于是8分钟的那个时间。所以对于牛来说，对。
So previous round of game is game time is around 5 minutes. Right now for this round, the game time will be 8 minutes. So for this round, we'll have a higher requirement on the physical condition, especially on their endurance capability. So for the cattle, the owners will calm down the cattle, will let them drink, encourage them, to let them relax a little bit, and then get ready for the next round of game. So whether they eat or not, it depends. So let's look at this round. These two cattle not give up.
感兴趣，
So I believe they are still in a stalemate condition.
是不是不能互相看见？看见可能
So for the losers,
还得打他，但是
so they will not look at each other, right? Especially after the game off.
这样子，直接就牵进去了，牵进去。
So we have the different horse house outside the venue.
有些牛可能还水土不服。
So for the cattle from the different province, we use the trucks to carry them to the game venues. So a lot of cattle actually arrived here 15 days ahead of the game day.
平时牛主人喂的，
So they
他们有一些
bring all the food and drinks with them, or they just
秘方肉自
buy all of them here.
己家牛吃了，
I believe each owners have their secret ingredients
但是
for their cattle. So I believe a lot of the owners will carry all the food and drinks with them.
那样哈，这个牛它不比人啊。
Of course, they not really have the drugs because drug is really highly
牵上来它就已经兴奋了，对吧？
forbidden here. So we also have a committee to
哎
check
这一下子，
whether drug is used or not.
看来真的是又要打平局了。
So I believe we still cannot really tell who is the winner, and then we can tell maybe it's also another draw, and we can tell the separators are in position.
和牛开始，
Okay, it's time to separate the cattle.
这两头牛现在，
是要打到现在挺不情愿被拉开的。
哎，因为他们现在已经是像都在
For these two cattle, they're not really willing to be separated.
牛主人在哪儿吗？
They still want to continue to compete in their strengths. Can we tell who is the owner of the cattle?
牵牛鼻子的是牛主人。
So you can tell who take the nose of the cattle, who is the owner.
This 像这些牛平时回去，这个怎么恢复呢？这个
For all these cattle,
休整的那段时间应该
so how they recover from the games?
还是保证它的一个
So they will stop training to let them recover by themselves, and also make sure they have very good food to let them recover themselves, and they have the
成本还挺高的。
hurt themselves. We also need to find the medicines
比较高，还有一
or
个
prescriptions.
花费比较多咯。在
Actually, it's really expensive
吃的也比较多，然后这个
to
牛
breed
你还要
and train a cattle,
调养啊这些
and it's really
比较
capital
而且不敢
and energy consumption.
所有人的耕地嘛。
And
耕地都是当锻炼
you
嘛
need to know exactly how to train the cattle, how to give them good food, how to let them very strong, have very good muscles. Of course, they are not really for the farming purpose.
对吧？养兵千日，用兵一时。
It's like the athletes.
进入了下一
It's like we train them, let them practice every day for the game day. So you can see right now we are doing the lots drawing for the next round.
对小盒子里面放乒乓球
So it's a really fair,
刚才我们
equal
看到
game.
的那个牛
So they have the ping pong balls with their number on, because just now we see all the cattle with their number on.
每个组别的那个都是编好号的嘛
云南小品，留住云南小品，13.6一个女主的，13.6一个女主的，2.9，推动小伙伴，小品。齐全了，小鬼啊，小鬼，怎么听见？留住不要打那个，20号齐全，重新抽签。留住，20号齐全，重新抽签。
有一个弃权了，牛状态不大好。
第4轮可能是牛。
So right now come to the 4th round, and I believe one cattle. I think the owner found his cattle not really in a good position or in a good physical condition. So I believe the one cattle right now is withdrawn from the game. So they need to redraw the lots.
OK
整个平寨村啊，包括咱们的高寨乡，现在就是打算以民族文化发展这一块，以旅游带动当地经济的一个发展。
对，我刚才进来这个。
We want to use the tourism to drive the economic and social development in ethnic minority village, because here in a really remote place in Guiyang province. So if we have this kind of cultural festival, then I believe that's really good to add another source of income for the village population. We're also right now doing a master plan for the minority village. So one of the key part is we want to do the planning and the further development of the tourism festival. We want to be later on to have the master plan to how to develop the tourism for the minority villages, because here it's called small Miao ethnic minority village, and we also have a lot of different other villages. They have their own traditions, and their buildings are really well preserved. So we have a lot of difficulties in preserving the traditional style of buildings. So we want to, through the tourism development, to bring the new energy and also attract the young generations back to their hometown, so they can develop and preserve their own tradition and culture. So this is also our thoughts for rural revitalization, and we are doing it. So we have a lot of cultures here. We have a lot of traditions. Because of in a remote place, the good thing is like a well preserved. But another side is like we need to really think about how we can have our development plan to let people know our culture. Because we have a really like 60% of the areas are covered by green. We have a very good conservation project going here. It's a beautiful area here. So we need to think about how we can leverage all these resources to develop our tourism plan. Right now we have another round of lots drawing.
好，我们听见第3轮的比赛已经开始了。
Okay, I believe it's the time to start the third round of the game.
好，我们期待啊，第3轮的比赛马上开始了。
Okay, let's look forward to the third game.
“刚才格牛的这帮队员是累得够呛啊，每一轮都要跟着牛跑。
So I believe all these young guys, the bull separators, also quite energy consumed. They also quite tired. As we introduced at the very beginning, because we have a lot of cattle participated in the festival. So all the cattle, actually the game yesterday started from 1 p.m. till this morning 6 a.m. Until this morning, we also have 400 to 500 audience watch the whole game overnight. I believe a lot of lovers of the sports, they have their enthusiasms to the event.
S 号，刚刚的骑士224号， 如果你想麦子头牛，请你到主席台联系。
好，现在我们看啊，这个第3轮的比赛已经开始了。那么我们给大家重申一遍这个比赛。
Right now we come to the third round of the game.
是6分钟，对吧？
So for the rule of the game is right now the game time is 5 minutes for the first round,
在这个5分钟之内
and within that 5 minutes,
下跑或者是斗
if one
追着他赶，然后这个就算赢。
cattle
如果双方僵持了5分钟还没有分出胜负的话，那就是
the
双方晋级。
make the other
那我
one
们第3轮的
fleecing,
赛事
then
将
the
延
one
长
is the
到
winner.
8分钟的
So we will talk about if the game is in
延长到
drawn,
10分钟的时间了。
then the two cattle are qualified to enter to the next round. Right now for this game,
用其他的牛跟这头牛在打。
if the cattle
这样对牛来说其实
compete within 6 minutes and we still cannot tell the winner, then we will choose another competitor to fight. So for the first round, it's really easy. Just within 5 minutes, if one cattle is run away, then the cattle will be the loser. But right now, it's like this is quite hard game and also a lot of energy consumed. So you can see they have the really strong muscle at their rear legs.
好，现在我们看2头牛又僵持在一块儿，
Okay, these two right now
脾气比较大。
is in stalemate condition, and I believe these two are really aggressive. You can see it's quite a fair competition.
好，现在我们看黑色那头牛攻击性比较强。
I believe the black one is more aggressive.
现在刚才黑色的牛处于攻击状态哈，这个
So I believe the black one is more in a proactive position. So you can say these two is like lock the horn and lock again.
咱们另外一头牛现在开始发力了，大家可以看到哈，另外一头牛现在开始发力了，不断地
You can tell the other one right now is carry the black one, and I believe right now is using more energies.
牛太累了。刚
So the black one before in a very
打了2轮了嘛，
active position, and Hongxin Company, we just saw this cattle won 2 games.
听到观众都已经惊呼起来了。
说明咱们
We also see the votes from the audience.
很精彩。
So this is really fair
他
competition,
们的看家绝活。
really fantastic one. I believe these two really high technique.
两头牛呢也充分的是像咱们的跟牛精神一样，不服输哈。
And these two never give up.
还是有力气。
Let's look at these two. I believe these two still have a lot of energy and power.
这就是力量型，不像刚才我们觉得另外有一头就特别有技巧。
So I believe these two. So like before we saw one cattle is know exactly how to use the technique, so play in a very smart way. But we can tell these two,
还是有观众在
they just compete in a hard way, just compete in strength.
哦，输 了，
So we also can see,
那头牛
okay, we have one cattle run away.
让我们看又开始
So the black one, I believe, is the loser. Okay, the separators start to stop the cattle. So I believe the cattle from Hongxin County is so tired.
好，那么
Okay,
各
we
位网友各位观众
already
这
have
个
the
时间的
winner
关系啊
for the first
不能像很多
game.
牛一样
To all the viewers, due to the interest of the time,
比赛还
we cannot, like all these lovers of the sports, we cannot really give you the whole broadcast
还有一
till
一直持续到今天
the early morning of tomorrow. I believe right now we are at the halfway. I believe the whole game will last to around 6 or 7 o'clock this evening. We cannot really see the final winner, the king of the cattle. But we can tell the festival, the bullfighting is really, really
但是呢，我们有把
a
握
lot of fun. It's really good entertainment. It's really fair competition. But we also have the very good
只是看的是
protection, not only for the cattle and also for the human being. We not just see the fighting between the bulls. We also see a lot of owners. They have their own philosophy how to train the bull, how to breed the bull. They have different techniques to train their cattle, and it is also because of the long history and the fun tradition of the Miao minorities. They have their own smart to train the cattle. They know exactly how to coexist with the cattle in a harmonious way, and also show the spirit of courage and hard work. It has also come to the end of our broadcast. If you're really interested, please, I invite you to the Guiyang
尤其是每年
province in the Goyang village to look at the bullfighting festivals in person, especially during the Lunar New Year. Thank you for watching.